the Executive Committee to order.
President is myself, our other members of the committee would be Mr. Harding and Mr. LaGuard. Other board members present, Mr. Hamner, Mr. Ford, Mr. DeBoard, Mr. LaGuard, Mr. Lake, and Mr. Boisvert, the superintendent and his staff. We have completed examination of invoices for the current month, including supplemental payrolls and copies. Do you all have any committee member concerns?
No concerns.
No member concerns? Do I have a motion to accept the invoices for payment?
Second.
Second. Any comment from the public? Mr. Harding?
No, ma'am.
Mr. LaGuard?
No, ma'am.
Any other board members? Any objections? None ordered. None heard, so ordered. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Any public comment? Mr. Harding? Mr. LaGuard? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so moved. Executive committee is now come to an end.
Okay, I'd like to begin the Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee. Please note that the committee members, myself as chair, vice chair, Mr. DeHart, and member Mr. Harding are present. Also present is Mr. Hamner, Mr. Ford, Mr. DeHart, Dr. Traha, Mr. LaGuard, and Ms. Soleil. The superintendent, as well as members of his staff. Number 2, consideration of approval for use of Terrebonne High School's track. The committee recommends that the board approve the request of Homewood Christian School to waive policy file E 1.6 use of facilities relative to the usage fee for Terrebonne High School's track for the 2023 track and field season for practices only February 7, 2023 through May 4th, 2023 on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. provided that the necessary insurance, nonprofit status, and all other school board policy requirements are met, and approval is obtained from the school's principal.
So moved.
So move Mr. Harding. Second, myself. Any public comments? Mr. Harding?
No, sir.
Any board members? Yes, Mr. DeHart.
I'm going to be speaking in opposition to this motion. With all the expenditures we have with hurricane damage and stuff and funding responsibility for the school system, I like to share things with other taxpayers in Terrebonne Parish, but we got to make these tracks last and our facilities last and not let everybody use them, because guess what? Whenever we have to repair them, it's got to come out of our general fund. And because of hurricane damage, I've always been supportive most of the time in the past, but I can't continue allowing everybody to use our facilities, and then we're going to have to repair them because the amount of usage that it's getting. So I'm trying to preserve what I can for our students, because that's my first obligation. So
Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
speaking
DeHart.
in opposition to this motion. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Mr. Ford?
So the normal verbiage when it's being waived, it says the usage fee is waived, but I'm understanding this to say that they will be paying the usage fee. Is that correct?
Relative to the usage fee for Terrebonne's track. Yes, right? For the usage fee.
No, it says waive the policy. It says
Oh, to waive policy, yeah. Right, right, for practice only.
So we're waiving the policy which includes the usage fee, right? The verbiage is very confusing, and I just wanted to clarify because,
It does include it.
okay. So if that's the case, I like the idea of us being synergetic in our approach in the community, but at the same time, like Mr. DeHart said, we need to try to preserve. If we were charging the usage fee, that money could go to the upkeep and the maintenance of the track, and that would be a little different. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ford. Any other board members? All right, so
And
this.
Mr. Alderman,
Yes,
real
sir.
quick, it does specify a time, that's,
One item.
unless we have like, some kind of situation where we need to get on the track at that time, we take precedence, any of our schools for that matter.
Correct.
It's not like a lot in time, it's theirs if we don't use the track.
Right, and again, that's the school's principal, the
Yes, sir.
principal that would, right, and that's what we've done
That's
in the
typically
past.
the other way we handle it.
Right, exactly. Mr. DeHart.
But still, in my opinion, and by all means, the amount of usage that we're using it, and then letting everybody else use it, the wear and tear, that expectancy, whenever it was brand new, was a certain time period. And we're in an area that has a lot of rain and stuff, so I'm just saying our environment does not help make our stuff last forever. And I still feel that, we should protect our sports and our kids first, and then whenever we can, then help out other school districts. Thank you.
Point taken, Mr. DeHart. Mr. Lagarde.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, Mr.
no, yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good. To be honest with you, I would like to see the tracks used 7 days a week. That means that we're record-rating kids, keeping kids off the street, doing something positive with them. Not always about the money. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I mean, so I think that's what we done kind of got away from. Same thing with our gyms, and I'm not talking about the high school gyms, I'm talking about recreation gyms. They should be open more, where you got kids out doing things more positive in a constructive way. So that's just my opinion. And another thing, I really don't think that there's a whole lot of wear and tear on those tracks. I mean, I know they guarantee you an X amount of time, but I've never seen anything in writing saying that if you use it 5 times a week, you can wear it out quicker than using it 3 times a week. I've never seen that, so that's just my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Mr. Hamner.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Harding as well, and I just want to remind my fellow board members that the parents of these kids that are going to use this track 2 hours a week, they pay taxes that build those tracks. They, just because they go to a Christian school, they are still paying taxes that build those tracks.
Thank you, Mr. Hamner. Mr. Lagarde.
Yeah, I want to, don't be redundant, but like Mr. Hamner and Mr. Harding say, it's kids at the end of the day. And we in the business of helping kids. Now, I understand they go to a different school, but they are taxpayers, and the track should be used. I'd rather them running on that track than running somewhere else. So it's kids at the end of the day, and that's what we in the business to help kids. So my feeling, let them
Thank you.
use the tracks in gyms.
Thank you, Mr. Lagarde. Mr. Ford.
Just to clarify, Mr. Harding, to go along with what you said, that track could be used 365 days a year for 10 years, and it would still see the same amount of wear as if it were used 20 days a year for 10 years. It's the period of time, it's not necessarily the usage. And whenever they do run track, they use special shoes and they take special considerations. There's more wear and tear on that track from, human traffic during games and band festivals and whatnot than there is during track meets. My only concern is that at some point in time, I would like to see, and you guys bring up a good point about taxpayer dollars, but at some point in time, they could help contribute a little bit to the actual stadium, maybe doing some beautification or something, for utilization of those facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Again, I lean towards let's provide facilities for these students, keep them out the streets, and so I'm definitely for it. So motion passes, goes to the full board. in 2 weeks.
I object. Note me as a-
Objection noted, Mr. DeHart. Number 3, consideration of approval for use of Southdown Elementary School's gym. I went to the public. See, I did public, didn't I? I did go to public. Yeah. Okay, wait, so, sir. I did go to public, but come on up. If you want to make a comment, you got to state your name, address, and what you want to say. State your name and address, and you have up to 3 minutes, sir.
Avery Carrera. In my what address?
Yes.
4293 Grand Calle Road.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I just want, okay, y'all going with the public and now the what it is, not, I guess, Christian schools or whatever, that's totally different things in my eyes, but, or everybody's taxpayers, but at the same time, is any of their funds coming into those, the public school funds, or no, for the track?
You're just addressing, you know, that you can make a statement, but we don't go back and forth with you on that.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, like, y'all making it seem like everybody's, just because we all everybody's taxpayers, but at the same time, we don't get none of their funds, so why should the schools you gotta pay for get the public schools funds and not be equal about it? That's my statement.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Any objections? We had one objection, and so motion does pass. Number 3, consideration of approval for use of Southdown Elementary School's gym. The committee recommends that the board approve the request of Homer Christian School to waive policy file E1.6 use of facilities relative to the usage fee for Southdown Elementary School's gym for the 2022-23 basketball season for practices only December 7, 2022 through February 27, 2023 on Sundays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., provided that the necessary insurance, nonprofit status, and all other school board policy requirements are met, and approval is obtained from the school's principal.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Harding. Second, myself. Any public comments? Mr. Harding?
Same comments I made earlier.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other board members? Yes, Mr. Ford.
I'm just curious, where do they play their competitive games if this is for practice only? Do they share a gym? Do they have a gym there that they share? Is it?
They got a gym.
They do have a gym?
Okay. Is Mr. Butch Terrio here?
That's what I
Would you
wanted.
come up to address the board, please? Please state your name and address. And
Name's Philip Terrio, 228 Camille Street.
okay, thank you. So, Mr. Ford, what's your question?
So they have a gym at Homer Christian that they use competitively. Is this for just overflow when you have double booking or something, or?
To answer your first question, yes, we do have a competitive gym that we do play our contests in. And to answer the second question, yes, it is for overflow purposes of our gym. Is not only our gym, it's also our cafeteria. It's where we meet. It's where all our color guard, everything practice. We have a bunch of teams that have to come in. And so we just looking for, like you say, overflow on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank
Any
you.
other board members? Any objections? Mr. DeHart objects. Motion passes. Number 4, consideration of approval of bids received on meats and frozen items for 22-23 spring session. The committee recommends that the board accept and approve the lowest bids received, meeting all specifications on meats and frozen items for the 22-23 spring session from Diamond Food Distributors, Inc., Jefferson, Louisiana, in the amount of $425,614.25, and Pond Food Corporation, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in the amount of $534,604.44. Funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. DeHart. Any public comments? Mr. Harding? Mr. DeHart?
No, sir.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Number 5, consideration of approval of bids received on canned and dry foods for 22-23 spring session. The committee recommends that the board accept and approve the lowest bids received, meeting all specifications on canned and dry goods for the 22-23 spring session from Diamond Food Distributors, Inc., Jefferson, Louisiana, in the amount of $234,987.70, and Pond Food Corporation, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in the amount of $295,656.51, funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund. So moved, Mr. DeHart.
Second.
Second, Mr. Harding. Any public comments? Mr. DeHart?
No, sir.
Mr. Harding? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Number 6, consideration of approval for authorization to advertise for bids for kitchen equipment. The committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the Child Nutrition Department to advertise for bids for kitchen equipment, funds to be derived from the USDA 2022 National School Lunch Program, NSLP, Equipment Assistance Grants for School Fund Authorities, and the Child Nutrition Program Fund.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. DeHart. Second, Mr. Harding. Any public comments? Mr. DeHart?
No, sir. Thank
Mr.
you.
Harding? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Number 7, consideration of approval of a plan for the replacement of Grand Caillou Elementary School. I think at this time, we're going to have Superintendent Ogeron introduce the plans, the options that we have for us tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So this decision time is of the essence. We've got to make a decision soon so we can get started with all of the processes that happen to acquire bids and architects and all of the planning that happens. So it's time to get this thing moving. We talked about that a month ago. Also, we could look at options all day long. There are many options. Tonight, we're going to look at three options, okay? As we're making this decision as a board or as a committee tonight, I ask the board members to keep this in mind. Look at it big picture, district perspective. And the question is, how can we do something that affects the most students possible in our system? I think we need to look at it through that lens. Secondly, we need to keep in mind future trends in geography of our parish. For instance, last 5 years, the Grand Caillou Elementary School, from our numbers, has a 28% decrease in enrollment. That's a trend. It's a lot of kids. Secondly, do we have options for school planning in higher elevated and less vulnerable areas? I think that needs to be looked at when we look at these three options. So with that said, I'm going to give you the option 1. Option 1 is what we talked about initially last meeting. That is remaining at Elysian Field site. That's where we're at right now. It seems to be working well. As a matter of fact, I probably shouldn't say this, but Grand Caillou Elementary did really, really well academically with all they went through. They were in multiple schools. They came together at Elysian Fields and did remarkable. One of our highest performing this school year, this round of schools. Can't say enough about the job they did. I'm not saying that's because of the building. I'm just saying they took that situation and they embraced it. If we would do that, what we talked about last time is renaming, upgrading Elysian Fields. We talked about the pros in particular. The building is a great building. You walk in the building, and every time I walk in, I'm taken aback at how nice that building is. It's one of the best conditions of the buildings of that era, that age. It's really well done. It needs some things, some storm recovery issues, concerns, the windows, the floor, a lot of things we can do to get that building in pristine shape. We talked about distance. We talked about distance from Grand Caillou Middle. We talked about distance from Grand Caillou Elementary. And I heard what you said about that. It's in town. We don't want to be that far in town, so we get that, and we heard you loud and clear last time. The other thing we talked about last time with this particular situation, it's immediate, and it would be less disruptive. They could settle and be done and really focus on continuing to achieve like they've been doing so far. That's option 1, okay? And I want you to, I know it's difficult, we heard you, it's not a bad situation, in my opinion. I don't think I would want to put kids in a bad position. There are a lot of cons, I'm just talking about pros for tonight, okay? Option 2, this is a new one. Option 2 combines Grand Caillou Middle School with Oaklawn Middle to make a larger middle school. Now, with that said, this school would not be Oaklawn or Grand Caillou, it would be Ellender Middle School. The same kids that start together at Ellender in 9th grade would be doing the same thing in the 5th grade. So it's the same kids, just starting the unity of their school a little earlier. If we do that tomorrow, if I combine both schools tomorrow, it'd be about 850 kids. Okay? We've had schools, middle school sizes of about 1,000 kids. So this is not outlandish, it's not too large, it's very manageable. Matter of fact, it gives kids probably more options when it comes to electives and other things that we can do with a bigger school. Also, it's the same concept as merging LaCache and Montague Middle. The east side is going to be all the same. You'd have one on that bayou where you'd have a middle school, and on this side of the east side, we'd have the same concept happening, where you're merging 2 middles to make one larger middle school that would accommodate the same kids that go to the same high school. Okay, now the Grand Caillou Elementary kids, if we would vacate the middle school building, we would house the elementary kids in the newer, I guess we can say closer to home school. And we put this, what we need to do with that building to accommodate the elementary. Now if you think about it, elementary has 6 grades, pre-K to 4, that's 6th grade level. So there are more kids, so we need more classroom space. Talking to the architect, underneath Grand Caillou Middle, there's a big breezeway. We could actually build up to 9 classes underneath. I don't think we need 9, we need 5. We need 4, really. We'd build 5. You can put 5 underneath and not worry about elevation or anything like that. We could accommodate that for a reasonable cost. It's a lot cheaper to do that than build a new wing somewhere off that campus, okay? A couple other things. And I put this because it's one of the things you said, and it hit home. The pre-K to 4, the little ones, they'd remain closer to home, and they'd be south of Woodlawn Ranch Road. The building is new, it's spacious, it's modern, and it's well built. It did really well in the storm. Here are the pros. The FEMA dollars. We could use the FEMA dollars or in multiple ways from Grand Caillou Elementary. We could use it for the Grand Caillou Middle facility to accommodate those 4 or 5 classrooms. We could use it at the Ellender Middle to really make a great wing in addition to that school. We could do a lot of upgrades. We could do a whole lot that the Grand Caillou community as well as the Oaklawn community would receive a lot of upgrades and even a lot of modern buildings connected to that school. That's a whole nother conversation. And what I'd like to do, I did speak to the principals of both Oaklawn and Grand Caillou Middle. And in our conversations, the principal of Grand Caillou Middle, Mr. Campbell, he brought up some great benefits that I wasn't even thinking at the time for kids. Benefits of kids being together at a Ellender Middle. So I'd like him, if he can, to come up and address the board, Mr. Campbell, about the benefits of a larger middle school. Now, Mr. Campbell's worked at Ellender, he's worked at Oaklawn, and he's a current principal of Grand Caillou Middle. He knows the community. So can you please come and share some of the things that we talked about the other day, Mr. Campbell?
Good afternoon, everyone. John Campbell, 5561 Bayou Black Drive, Gibson, Louisiana. I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Orgeron along with Mr. Carter. And to stay on course with what we represented, I wrote down a summary. I've been blessed to serve the community and the students of these communities on the east side for the last 22 years. No matter where you're from, whether you're from the Doug Road or for you from Full Point, I had the opportunity to meet those kids and those families. It's been a pleasure to serve these communities, but there's some tough decisions ahead of us. In the process of having the tough decisions, I also worked at Element. I worked at Eleanor when we combined the town and the bayou. It was two different mindsets. It was two different mindsets, and by the time those kids become seniors, their mindsets were similar. So I had an opportunity to speak the other day and understanding that we must have an opportunity to bridge the gap. Bridge the gap for our kids. Give them an opportunity to once again to merge together in a mindset that they can focus on education, and opportunities can be offered early on as far as advancing kids and getting kids on the graduation track. And also seeing deficit and addressing deficits together and working on those deficits and increasing those strengths. So when they get to high school, it'll be a stronger product of child once they get there. Also, these are two hardworking communities. I'm proud to say that each community that I have worked in, those individuals will give you the shirt off their back, but they are extremely prideful, and they want their own. So it says in Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. A man that sharpens face, the man sharpens the face of his neighbor. It's almost universally seen as positive. To understand that faithful are the wounds of a friend. So students eventually put down their differences. They eventually see the bigger picture, that we're one big family. And being that we're one big family, we can look past situations. We can look past different mindsets and come together as one. So at Eleanor, I face situations called the UBB versus the DBB. In some situations, you'd be like, what are you talking about? It's the up the bayou boys versus the down the bayou boys. So it was a natural separation between mindset and backgrounds. So, in my opinion, and only my opinion, Oaklawn and Grand Caillou is voted on. It gives you a futuristic idea, a futuristic mindset of what we're doing for our kids, not for now, but for the future. I had the opportunity to talk to Mr. John Celestine. He said, well, Big John, I got 5 years left. I said, I'm right behind you. And so, knowing that, we have to put things in place for our children, not now, but for 15 to 20 years down the road. So we make a decision that's not affect the board members of now, because y'all gonna be gone. We gotta make some decisions that affect the children and the fathers and the mothers that are sitting here right now to ensure the fact that we do what's right for them. So I understand that combination will affect kids on multiple different levels, behaviorally, social, emotional, and also coming together as one. It gives you a strong mindset of where we're going as a whole on the east side. Our babies of Grand Caillou Middle School need a place of their own. Bottom line, they need home. So Hurricane Ida was brutal to Grand Caillou Middle School and the surrounding communities. But we must press on with a mindset for the future. And we must press on in preparation for our children for the future. I am here to continue my service to the Grand Caillou Middle School community and Terrebonne Parish. My faculty and staff believe on a daily basis that we are the greatest school in the world, and we represent the best people in the world. So my heart is heavy and my mind is strong. But I hope together as a board and as a community, we come together for our kids and hold tight and hold strong to change and accepting change and accepting what's to come for our kids in the future. Grand Caillou community, I love you to do, and once again, I'm always here for you.
Thank you, John. Can I give John a question?
Yes, you can.
Good deal, John.
You know, Mr. Cam, I respect you, and I had the pleasure of working at Oaklawn, and also I had the pleasure of working at Grand Caillou, down Grand Caillou though, and there's a new school up in the community, respected, and they made that move up the town. But when you go down there, it is a difference, and it is a difference between Grand Caillou, and it's a difference between Grand Caillou up where you at, there's a difference, and I know those people are resilient, but they want to be at Grand Collier. In Oaklawn, that's a whole different breed at Oaklawn. I had the pleasure of working at Grand Collier, and at Grand Collier, we was the first basketball team to beat Oaklawn in basketball, if I must say that, and that was a prideful thing, because you know, they are a proud, strong community, and I know both. I lived in the Oaklawn community. I was raised in the Oaklawn community, you know, but they are two separate communities. And not that we don't come together at Eleanor, we do and become one. But before that, we are not the same. And it won't benefit us to be the same. Grand Collier, you have to stay down Grand Collier where they pride. And now, I'm hurt because I really do believe Oaklawn should be, Oaklawn not for us in my area, Oaklawn should be in their community. So you're still taking Oaklawn and coming, but really Grand Collier, the people that accepted it, but that's really not the community where the school sits now. You know, and I know you are doing a great job. You are a great principal, and that community do embrace you, and I like that, and I know Oaklawn would embrace you, but, and your staff, you said, they are proud, because they are proud Grand Collier students and teachers. You go to Oaklawn are just as proud because they are at Oaklawn. You know, personally, I think Grand Collier should be down the body because that's their community. And it's not a racial thing, you know, it's a thing where you feel comfortable at. At Oaklawn, am I comfortable there? No, I'm not, but it's the only home I know for that community. Because you have us at Oaklawn in a community really not for us. You know, so if you taking us from that community and putting us in somebody else's community, you're not thinking about the east side. You just moving us somewhere. If that's the case, if you give me the opportunity as a parent at Oaklawn, instead of taking my 2 miles to go to Grand Collier, it's the same 2 miles. I can go to the New Bird School, or the same 2 miles, take me to Broadmoor, or take me to Marbury. Why I'm not offering them opportunities, why I got to go to Grand Collier? Because when you look at the map, we still can go anywhere. I'm still being bused. So you're gonna take 2 schools that are DC schools and combine us with the New Bird School, combine us with the Marbury. Why we don't see them? But I understand what you're saying, sir, and I appreciate it. And I think if that ever happened, you would be the man for the job, but you're doing a well job at Grand Collier and keep representing Grand Collier. And to be honest, but Grand Collier need to be in Grand Collier. Oaklawn need to be where they at, sir. I appreciate you, Mr.
What was the question, Mr. Lagarde? What was the question?
It really,
Because there was a statement. What was the
It
question?
was a statement. It
Yeah.
wasn't a question, but I just wanted to let you know, I worked at Grand Collier in Grand Collier. And there's a difference between where you at in Grand Collier. It's nothing against you. It was more of a statement, sir.
And Mr. Lagarde, I understand I'm from South Lafourche. Ain't no way I'm gonna mingle with Central Lafourche.
Exactly.
So when I say I understand, I'm from a bayou also. But also, you know, like, just understanding what my mindset, my standpoint is at.
Of course.
Because once again, I will do what's told and what's asked me of the board and of the community to ensure that the kids are taken care of.
And you're doing an excellent job, and I want the board to know.
Thank you.
Mr. Campbell made national news for Grand Collier. He had a national news article, and I thought we should have promoted that more. You know, if it was another school who made national news like Mr. Campbell made for Grand Collier, we would probably promoted it more, but he made national news for the school and the community, doing a beautiful job.
All right. Thank you all. That's option 2. Okay, option 3. So 3 is broken down into 2 parts. They both involve rebuilding the elementary school, okay? So the first one, I want you to understand the difference between the 2. The first one is rebuilding at its original site. We do a demolition and rebuild there. It would be 90% covered, more than likely, from FEMA. We'd be responsible for 10%, and that's where the funding would end, right there on that site, okay? If we rebuild it anywhere else, if we rebuild in any other property, including option 3B, which is building on the Grand Calumet Middle site, we'd only get a portion of the cost of a new building. We wouldn't get the 90%. It would be a lot less anywhere else but on that site. So those are the two other options. Obviously, the pros would be a new facility further down the bayou, closer to homes. Okay, those are the three options, really four. You got one, which is Legion Fields, two, which is the merger option, and Grand Calumet Elementary in the middle school building with upgrades and new classrooms, or option three, which is on-site, option 3B, which is building it off-site, not as much money, more money out of district funds. Okay, so at that point, those are the three options, Mr. Voisin, from my perspective.
Mr. Voisin, in looking at all three options, I know tonight is time of the essence, and I know all board members may not agree with, of course, my opinion on how I feel about it, but I think we need to start the process. We can't keep, kicking the can down the road. I think at some point we need to start the process and let the debate begin. So in looking at all three of those proposals and understanding what each one of them would mean to the community and all which would mean to Oaklawn School that actually need to be repaired, I would like to make a motion that we look at option 2.
So you're motioning to look at option 2. I'll second that motion. Option 2 would be, again, someone said, what is option 2? Option 2 would be, again, to move the elementary school students to the middle school. And our middle school to Oakland. The middle school eventually would be, the middle school would merge with the Oakland school.
Yes,
That's
yes.
option 2.
That's option 2.
Wait.
That's option.
I don't have the option, but that's option 2. Okay, so the motion I seconded. Any public comment?
Yes.
Come to the, you'll have 3 minutes to speak, say your name, address, and,
Judy Gaspard, 223 Lancaster in Houma. I disagree with number 2. I would appreciate that you understand what these people need on Grand Calumet, and y'all all know I was there for a long time. These people need that elementary school in their area. As far as taking it and bringing it into town again, like you did the middle school, it's ridiculous. Leave these people alone. I've been to Legion Fields, I've been to Grand Calumet Middle, I've been to LaCache. Every place is different. You are right on, Mr. Lagarde. Every place is different. They're not bad. They're just different. They take care of themselves, their people, and this is one thing they have left, is the elementary school that was doing well when it was down the bayou also. Elysian Fields is not Grand Calumet Middle no matter what. And as far as building something underneath that breezeway, I wish everybody would go look at that first before you decide to put that under the breezeway, because it's not gonna accommodate the second floor unless somebody, I'm not an architect, but I do remember that getting to the second floor was doing stairs, and you have to put rooms down at the bottom. I don't believe that would work, but that's just my opinion. I'm begging you to leave Grand Calumet Elementary where it is now, demolish, rebuild, you have the money. Thank you.
any other public comments? Yep. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Avery Carrera, 4293 Grand Calumet Road. Just like I said, I remember Mr. LaGraw when I was in school. Appreciate everything you said, brother. Start with that. But like they were saying, everybody is different. And when you're going to take and try to do what option 2, what everybody's agreeing on, all you're doing is preventing the fact of what, whenever Grand Calumet Middle was where Grand Calumet Elementary is now, and when you had to go to Oaklawn, the only reason you could go to Oaklawn was to play sports, and that's it. Other than that, you couldn't merge them two. if you ain't have nothing to do with sports. So let's make this about education and not sports. Let's make this about education and not sports. That's my, what I gotta say.
My name's Abraham Parfait. I'm 4198 Grand Caille Road. There's a reason we have elementary, middle, and high school. So a kid gradually grows and mix with other people. As an elementary kid, them kids grow and mix colors, mix together. Middle school, well, now you got two schools coming together to make one. And they're learning slowly together how to grow together. High school, it's a total different world because you got a whole nother neighborhood. There's a reason we do 3 schools for our children. 5th grade is too young to be in a middle school. I left Grand Caille to play sports. I hitchhiked 2 years for football. I didn't find out what drugs was to the backyard of Oklahoma 2 weeks after I was there. I told my mama. My mama wanted me to quit. I kept hitchhiking. There's a reason. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Abram. Any other public comments?
Bryn Sapier, 3472 Grand Caille Road. Mine's more of a question. If we're gonna merge Oaklawn and Grand Caille, which I personally don't agree with, coming from, my parents came from Oaklawn. I came from Grand Caille. It's 2 different schools, like Mr. Lagarde said, repeating it. But my question to y'all is, if you're getting funding for Grand Caille, but we're gonna merge into Oaklawn, where's Oaklawn's funding going? Where is that funding gonna be placed at? I'm just curious.
We don't interact, ma'am. You just make a statement.
Okay, well, since it won't be answered, my statement to y'all is, we're gonna take these kids that are just becoming young adults. I agree. When we come to Oaklawn, when we go to Ellender, Oaklawn, and Grand Caille come together because they know or have a sense of who they are as a person. But you want to take a middle school kid who's just like, oh my gosh, I just got my period. Oh my God, I'm coming into puberty. Oh man, now I got to take the bayou from this community and I got to take the town from this one. Now you also got to think about, let's go sports perspective. That's 2 teams down that get to merge into 1. That's less games, less practice that these teams get. That's less competition that these teams get because, Lord forbid, football, you only get first string that's going to play. You're going to have second, third, and fourth string warming the bench? Where that benefits the kids at when it comes to sports? I mean, I understand we want bigger schools and bigger things, but don't we also want to raise the idea of let's compete against each other? Because I ain't gonna lie, you know doggone well Oaklawn and Tarpons are gonna represent. But at the same time, Grand Caille is gonna represent too. And that's like a lifelong battle between Oaklawn and Grand Caille, just like Ellender against ST. Lord forbid, when it comes down to the band, Ellender at ULL, we all coming down to represent who we are as a person. Let's let our little kids be little kids down the bayou, but let them find out who they are middle school wise before you throw them into, hey, you got to figure this out together. Haven't they been thrown into enough with the hurricane? That's all I got to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public comments? No.
Good evening, Candace Chauvin, 5146 Shrimpers Road. So I think option 3A is the best. If you notice, it had the least amount of bullet points because it is very straightforward. And honestly, no other projects should be funded with the money that y'all gonna receive from FEMA for Grand Caillou Elementary. To me, this is, if you think about it from a perspective as a resident who receives any type of insurance award, FEMA award, you are only supposed to use those monies for your home. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to go and buy anything else. So I think this option makes the most sense. You receive money for Grand Caillou Elementary, you just rebuild Grand Caillou Elementary where it is, where it's at. I also think that there would be issues if Ellender Middle, were to happen. Grand Caillou Middle faces struggles in a few different areas. For example, classroom space is pretty limited. The school has been open since 2014, and the population changes a little bit every year, but there are certain teachers who have had to switch classrooms. The library, for example, is now in like an open mall area. Some of the special ed teachers have to use the cafeteria for space because they don't have their own classroom. And it is a struggle because I feel like teachers should have a classroom to be able to provide the type of enrichment that special education students need. I also think that we still are encountering a lot of transportation issues. So if Ellender Middle were to happen, this would be exacerbated tremendously. Oaklawn should be in their own community. Those kids definitely deserve to have a school in their own community, and this option does a disservice to them. It's not fair to them. Our community was affected tremendously by Hurricane Ida, and theirs was not. So this option to move them out of their community is, in my opinion, pretty unfair to them. And I'm sure many of those families would agree with that. This would cause tremendous turmoil in their families. I also feel like having around 850 students would be a difficult transition for both schools because both of these schools are fairly small, and like Mr. Lagarde said, they have different needs. And so this would be a lot of stress on the families, the students, and the staff that have to endure this transition. The breezeway is utilized.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Okay.
A motion to extend the time.
Motion to extend. Mr.
Thank you.
Lagarde? Okay, motion to extend 1 minute.
Thank you. I'm trying to talk slower than last time because I ramble. The breezeway is utilized in a lot of different ways at Grand Caillou Middle, and I do feel like closing that area in would not be a good solution. And I don't think that amount of classrooms would be enough to even make a difference at all. So in my opinion, 3A would be the best option. And I really feel like throughout the years, there shouldn't be an issue with elevation because there shouldn't be. I mean, we have buildings constructed on bayous all the time. So the idea that, oh, we have to go up 12 feet, we have to go up 12 feet, it's a little bit different. And I also think that this proposal is great because there's a saying that I learned growing up, like if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you don't ask FEMA to build a new school on the campus of Grand Caillou Elementary, then you won't get one. If FEMA rejects this proposal, then let them reject it. But at least you ask for it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
How y'all doing? My name's Jansen Verdin. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name's Jansen Verdin, 7435 Grand Caillou Road. I agree. I think option 3A, to keep the school down there, rebuild it where it is the best option, because as you can hear from the parents, they want the school down there. They want their children to be near the community that they're from. As you've heard other people say, it is a difference in living, in going to school, living in one Bayou community to the next Bayou community to town. It's different. Like they said, it is not a bad thing. It is good that we get to grow up differently, but then learn to grow up together. I think that is great. That's an experience that I had growing up down the Bayou. You know, I went to South Terrebonne. I'm sorry, I'm getting off. They ain't got nothing to do with this. But they want to, you know, we want to keep the school down the Bayou. That's important. The children need to be in the community that they are from. Every community, every child in every community need to be around the people who they come from. So you learn who you are. You know what I'm saying? You learn that, and when you know who you are, when you get into high school, it's a lot harder to fall into those, you know, to fall through the cracks. You know what I mean? To me, that's important. And like I said, the parents want it. And that's who y'all represent, and that's what y'all should take into consideration. Now, thank y'all for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Only once, right?
I have a petition to keep Grand County Elementary School on the Bayou portable until new school is built, 891. And I quit thinking because it's just a strain on the mind and the family.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Mr. Harding.
Thank you, Mr. Vice. And again, thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. One of my slogans that I made for my reelection that we had to make tough decisions. Every day we have to make tough decisions. Some of you are not going to agree on every decision we make. But I do believe that this board as a whole, whether they agree with me or disagree with me, they're doing what they think is best. So to clarify why I went with option 2, and it goes back to what Mr. Orgeron stated earlier. The way I look at it is this. I look at the big picture, and Mr. Campbell talked about it, the big picture. 10, 15, 20 years from now, is the population going to be there to maintain that school? That's a question that we don't know that. We really don't know the answer to that. We can shake our heads and say, yes, it will be, but it's very, very possible that it won't be. So also you have to understand that me, how I represent my constituents, I got to look at what's best for the community as a whole. I got to look at what's best as a whole, and I got to make a decision on what I think is best as a whole. That's what guides me. That's what leads me in the right direction. Do I make all the right decisions? No, I made mistakes, but I made honest mistakes. So this is the reason why that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling about it, is because I'm looking at this not just tomorrow. I'm looking at this down the road. I'm looking at this down the road. And it's very possible that could happen, that the community is shrinking. Numbers are decreasing. That 10, 15 years from now, we have an $18 million school there, and guess what? We don't have kids going to the school. That's something that this board, well, actually, it won't be this board that's going to deal with it. Like somebody said earlier, it'll be another board got to deal with it. But it's within us, in front of us now. That's a decision we have to make now. We're making decisions that affect down the road. We don't make decisions that affect today. We make decisions that affect tomorrow, the day after that, and years after that. So that's solidified how I'm feeling about why I'm voting what I'm voting. Hey, if there's anything else out there that's different from that, I'd have a problem with that. But that's why I'm solidifying how I feel about how I'm going with option 2. And I appreciate each and every one of you coming here tonight to express your feelings and your concerns. And I think we need more participation from the public to show that you really care about your school. Thank you.
As a courtesy to the chairman, if you want to speak because you second the motion, you can, and I do want to speak before it's over.
I'm going to wait for, excuse me.
Okay. Well, it's going to take me a little while.
That was it. That was it. The motion still option 2.
We got 25 homes being built by, America's building homes. Who's next?
Mr. DeHart, I'm sorry, sir.
I'm next.
You had your chance.
That's $12 billion.
Sir.
Excuse me.
Mr.
Mr.
DeHart.
Wazam,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make some very important comments.
Yes, sir.
And by no statement that I'm going to say, it's about politics. I want that very clear, no matter what the outcome of tonight is in the future. The years I've been sitting on this board, I've experienced many things. Whenever Grand Kai Middle was built, it was in the school district that I represented because of changes, because of elections, and have to redo districts. It is not now in the district. So I want to make that fact very clear. It was part of the community that I felt. It was still in there because I went all the way to Patriot Point as part of the district that I represented. But I represent Terrebonne Parish, and I'm trying to look at the big picture too. From day one, I didn't like the options that was being offered to us. Whenever FEMA's going to tell us certain rules and regulations, which I truly believe is fact, and we can't make FEMA change what the rules are. If I cannot rebuild Grand Kai Elementary on its same site, I can't build one on Little Kaya or Grand Kaya or Houma or Chauvin, anywhere in the same site. So I think the same rule applies. And the reason I'm saying that is that in all of the years, I would tell you right now that even one option that might not even be realistic, the old Grand Kaya school, we still own that. Whenever we shut that down, it's because it flooded 4 times. I helped shovel mud out of that place 4 different times. I had communities helped us, fire department. Communities is what I believe in. And I'm not trying to say this because of what's said tonight. We do represent communities as a parish. And what I'm going to say to you is that the reason we did close the old Grand Kaya Elementary School because of flooding multiple times and losing a lot of instruction. I think that was a long-term plan to relocate after we built the new middle school to put them up there at the existing old middle school. I think that was in the best interest. It kept it in the community, and I think everything worked. I'm saying to you that the long-range plan, I positively am not going to support the motion that's on the floor. And not because of speakers tonight, but I've been saying all along, if I cannot relocate Grand Kaya Elementary where it is today, I can't do it on any other place in Terrebonne Parish either. And that's what I'm still hanging my hat on, to show you that I've been constantly trying to research. What was said tonight is that maybe we can add some classrooms underneath that building. It's going to take not no FEMA money, because you can't use it because you got to go up to up to elevations. But I've learned today too that the elevations have not changed in the since, and I figured the year, I want to say 2020. If I'm incorrect on that, I apologize, but I tried to research every possibility to have that school in the community. Tonight, I would support 3A, and I'm going to offer a substitute motion for that, whether it passes or not. But before I finish speaking, it's not because of what the public said. It's trying to keep communities, and I would do that same thing for all of the schools down in Little Kaya, Chauvin, Montague. And I do know it sounds great to say, oh, we got limited funds. Yes, we do. But all I'm saying is that I would never support having funds from any other site to help one site. I disagree with that, and I'm just saying I'm not blaming staff and all of these facility project managers and architects that's trying to work on trying to fix our school system. We've exhausted as much funding as we had, but we have to find a way. And I'm still telling you that no matter what happens tonight, 3A is still, in my mind, the best option for that community, for the little kids, and I'm not trying to be political. And if I am incorrect, all the other 8 of you can go ahead and get a petition and get me off of this board, because I'm going to serve the community and these kids. and it's not about just my heart about the community. I believe communities will die without good schools in the area, and the people gonna move out. I have enough problems saying right now, with the economy and the world the way it is today, for people to make an honest living and survive and try and give their children what they need, not what they want. We have to all work together, and there has to be a way that we could do whatever we have to do that. And listen, if we can't find the funding, again, I'm not here speaking out of my mind. I tell you what, before I move them off of that bayou, I would ask us to pursue even looking at the old Grand High School for a temporary fix until we can find the means to do something better to keep that community alive and thriving, because I've seen so many things in that community move out of the community, and it does impact the community. And you talk about taxpayers, they are taxpayers just like me and you. And all I'm saying to you is that, to me, I really believe 3A, I would love to see us exhaust every avenue. And if we have exhausted every avenue, I still say there's other properties we can get closer to that site, possibly. I still believe that's a possibility within our means. And we have properties that we can sell. So there is means to try and do some of the things I'm saying. But I'm not looking just for Grand Caillou. I'm looking for the whole entire parish. Just like a previous board member said, we did do a long-range plan. But guess what? That plan in that community and other communities are in jeopardy for getting smaller and smaller because we're not staying there. We keep moving out. Thank you for listening to what I'm saying.
Ms. Soley.
This is very emotional for me. I moved to Terrebonne Parish in 1982 to start my first teaching job at Grand Caillou. And I taught there for 3 years. I also snagged my husband from there. But I have something that I wrote in 1985 that was put in a book that our 8th graders wrote before they went on to another school, and I'd like to read it. It's called The Beginning. It all began in August '82. I was hired to teach at Grand Caillou. I packed my belongings and loaded my car and drove and drove. Boy, was it far. South Louisiana was also new to me because I was a North Louisiana Yankee. The food and accents were also strange, but I knew I could adjust to such a change. I unloaded my things and got moved in and began counting the days before school to begin. I opened my eyes on August 22 and realized this was my first teaching day at Grand Caillou. Arriving at school, not expecting what to find, I got out of my car with all sorts of things in my mind. I went to my room and waited for the bell. The bell soon rang and my heart fell. The students came in and took their seats. Was I ready to accomplish such a feat? My first experience was calling the roll. These Cajun names I did not know. I struggled and stuttered to do my best, but with my redneck accent, the names were a mess. The day went on and went quite well. Before I realized it, it was a 3 o'clock bell. The weeks and months went quickly too. May soon arrived and school was through. I've now taught 3 years at GCS, and the experience gained has been the best. Grand Caillou School, I'll never forget the students, the teachers, and all who I've met. I came to Terrebonne all alone, but thanks to you, it's now my home. We have to keep kids in the communities where they live.
Mr. Ford, you're next if you wanted to say something.
It's going to be hard to follow that. So, politics aside, I have a life motto, and it's been the theme of my adult life, which is put the unity back in community, right? So I want to start by saying that I did not appreciate, and I do not appreciate this process and the way that we're given 3 or really 4 options, 1, 2, and 3A and 3B, and then it's only have one of those come out of committee. I don't like that, and I'll stand by that statement. I think we should have had all these options as an entire board. Last time we met and we talked about this, I had a concern about the elevation. And the question wasn't answered quite at that moment, but it was answered a few days later, which is the 90% that FEMA reimburses also includes the elevation cost, the additional elevation cost. So my concern with regards to elevation is now very limited to how would the neighboring properties be affected, right? And with drainage and fluid dynamics and gravity drainage and force drainage, we can fix that. We can circumvent those problems. I have confidence we can. I also know that with a new school brings new enrollment. So I think that, yes, the community has shrunk a little, but I'm thinking it may end up growing. When Southdown opened up the new school 3 years ago, their enrollment skyrocketed, okay? Now with the addition of Mulberry, some of those students have left and went back to Mulberry. Miraculously, they ended up back in that district. But I'm saying the population grew when that new school opened up. And we all know property value, one of the first things you look at is the school in that area, in that region, that district. So with a new school brings new, better property value, brings better opportunity and more people. I also think if we did for one, Upper Little Caillou, then we should do for the others. Now, if we had not decided to build on Upper Little Caillou's property, then maybe I wouldn't even be considering this. But since we did, that's where we're at. There's an old cliche, everybody knows it, it takes a village, right? It's not a village up the street, it's your village, right? It's your tribe, it's your family. That's where it takes, right, that village. Now, I did like the idea of, at some point in time, having those middle schools converge only for this one particular reason. There's a concept called synergy. Everyone has heard of it. You may not know exactly what it is. Synergy, we have a bank named Synergy, but there's a synergistic approach. I mentioned it earlier. And synergy is giving rise to a whole that's greater than the sum of its parts, right? So it makes sense to some people to say, let's put them together because as a whole they'll be better than the sum of their parts. But we're talking about young minds, we're talking about young scholars, young athletes, young band children. When you do that and you put those together, it does take away opportunities. I coached at Oaklawn. I had a dynasty year when I coached at Oaklawn. We were 21-0. We beat everybody, including Grand Caillou Middle, like 3 times. But there were some kids on Grand Caillou's basketball team that if I would have had on my team, we would have beat everybody in the world. But that wasn't the way it was. We presented a challenge for them. They pushed. We just didn't overcome. It's probably because I was such a good coach. I'm not going to lie. Greg can attest to that. But here's the bottom line. When it comes down to this decision, I don't like the idea, like I said, that it's only going to committee, then to the full board. But I want to say this. I want the Grand Caillou community to be excited about the school that they're going to get, the school that their kids are going to go to, and the learning that's going to happen at that school. That's what I want. I love that community. I'm not from there. Heck, many times I went down there, I didn't even feel like I was welcome, but it was because I was that Yankee from up north on the other side, right? But when I showed up on the basketball court, those guys down Grand Caillou saw there was something different about me, right? And I was accepted. I was welcome. And when I taught there with Ms. Gaspard, who actually was my principal when I was in elementary school, by the way, I had the pleasure of having her as a principal, as a student, and 25 years later, as my administrator, my boss. When we were at Grand Caillou, we knew we had a challenge we were facing. It wasn't just educating a community, it was getting people excited about coming to school and learning. And it wasn't new school, it wasn't new brick and mortar, but it was Grand Caillou, and they have their own set of challenges that we need to help overcome. I'm a little disappointed that anybody would entertain the idea of option 1 or option 2. I think 3A is the way to go, and I'm hoping that it gets to the full board to make that decision.
Dr. Trahan's next.
You're saving the best for last, right?
No, that's more
I'm
in
not
line.
last, you guys.
Get a tissue.
Oh, I don't know where to start. My heart bleeds for the community of Grand Caillou Elementary. So many people on the bayou that have been devastated by this storm. So many communities that have been broken up. So many families that have been broken up. So many people that are not even living in our community that have moved out and come back down for weekends because they can't stand to be away from their communities that they were raised in. But they couldn't live in their houses anymore. They were destroyed, so they're living somewhere, and they come down on weekends trying to rebuild, to refix, to come back home. A lot of them I've asked, if we rebuild, will you come back? Yes. If you are teaching your child at home right now because it's too far to send your child, or you're not comfortable sending your child to the faraway school in Houma, will you come back? Yes. In a heartbeat, I will have my children back. I've talked to so many people that have said that. I really believe in community. I believe in the strength of community and the value of community. I also heard for the Oaklawn kids. Their school is really in bad shape, and we need to do something about rebuilding that one as well. But we need Oaklawn to be at Oaklawn, and we need Grand Caillou to be at Grand Caillou. And I will support Grand Caillou being on Grand Caillou. One more thing I want to make sure the public is aware. This is a committee meeting tonight. There are only 3 individuals up here on that committee, and there are only 3 that will vote tonight. And my concern is that 3 members will decide which option will come to the full board on the first week of December. That's what bothers me. I would like the full board to be able to consider all options, not be held to a decision by 3 persons on a committee to one option by the time we get to the full board in the first week of December. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Trahan. Okay, before I continue with more board members, which I do have several more people, I mean, I agree with so many things that everybody's saying. Change is hard. Change is hard. And I appreciate all you guys coming out here, and we have to make a huge decision. It goes through committee, and it's made by 3 people. You know, then it goes from the committee to the full board. So as of right now, I know I'm not pushing it through yet, but as of right now, what's on the floor is option 2. But listening, hold on, Mr. DeHart. Listening to everyone here, I have a question, and I don't know if it's Mr. Ogeron can answer that. If option 2, because option 2 can go through today, you know, because of 2 of the 3 members.
And if it does, it doesn't mean that it get approved at the full board.
That's what yeah, that's where I want it to go. So it could be voted down. Hold on. If it's voted down, Mr. Ogeron, do we start over again? I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's just going to push the process even further down the road. So that's, I mean, because then, please. Yeah, guys, y'all need to, please, we're trying to make the right decisions, okay? We really are, okay?
We could come to the board meeting and offer a motion right now that's on the agenda and hash it out at the board meeting. Just put it down and look at the options again, pick an option, recommend it, and forward.
So even though we would push option.
Instead of picking it tonight with just 3 people, we do it all
Right, yeah, I mean, obviously, that's the decision that I want to, right. Obviously, I want the whole board to decide, but listening to everyone here, it looks like,
Yeah, it is the
so.
motion that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
These committee, go to the board meeting,
Okay.
and then vote on the option there. Everybody on board.
Okay. So you could, get my point, okay, I just want to make sure I get this right. So it would go, option 2 would go to the full board. It can be voted down, and then at that board meeting, we can choose option 3 if that's what we want to do. If the board decides, okay. So I just wanted to clarify that to make sure. At the board meeting, but it wouldn't have to go through committee again. It can be done. So a decision will be made, hopefully, by that day. Okay. All right, calm down. I'm just trying to get everything straight so we all, I can see that, Mr. Lagarde. Be patient, sir. All right. Mr. DeHart. That's okay. That's why I wanted to ask. That's why I wanted to ask the question before I got to you, because I think I know what you're about to do. But that's why I'm wanting to clarify what's on the floor right now. Okay. You can't, you're not on the committee. Correct. Okay, so substitute motion is on December the 6th at the board meeting. The substitute motion is to open up all 3 options again, and it's going to be voted upon by the full board.
Mr. Chairman, you're correct. I know it's a motion on the floor, option 2.
Not anymore.
You're making a substitute motion to that.
Substitute motion.
And that's what I was trying to do. That's what I was trying to, right. Okay. All right, so I'll second that.
Question, though. Are you limiting the December board meeting to just those options? Huh? So no other board member can come in December and maybe offer a
Option
4th
4?
plan? You're saying options,
Yes, Mr. DeHart, since
well,
you're on the committee.
no, I'm asking the chairman.
Okay. Well, that's what's on the floor right now, that all 3 options would come back, since that's the only ones that have been offered. So you're asking if you can bring an option 4?
You know, what if another board member wanted to bring another option?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's an option.
That would be a substitute motion.
Yeah.
That would be a substitute motion, yeah.
Follow Robert's rules and, you know, make sure our attorney agrees with this, this motion, you know, because we don't want to limit ourselves to some creative idea, you know, to, or not, you know, another creative idea.
Yeah, Mr. Harding.
Is that in line with Robert's rules, Ms.?
With the current motion on the floor is to bring the 3 options presented tonight
Back to the full board.
December 6th meeting before the full board. That has been set. That's the only thing on the table, right?
Okay, I'm going to go back to my committee members. Mr. Harding.
Okay, let me clear it up. There's some confusion, okay? We have 3 options, option 1, 2, and 3. We can bring up any other option at a board meeting, the next board meeting we have. So we shouldn't tie ourselves into 1, 2, or 3, okay? So we can bring up anything that we want. It can come move them to Chack Bay. I'm just using it as an example. So we don't need to tie ourselves up. We don't need a substitute motion to do that. It's already on the agenda. Any board member can bring up, because somebody might come up with a great idea that might not even be here. So we shouldn't even tie ourselves into saying 1, 2, or 3. We do that, then now we right back where we started from.
Right.
So we can go on and go with the,
Substitute.
the substitute, or we can go with the original, and that way everything comes back to the body again. And whether it gets 2 or 5 votes or whatever, we can always move forward from there. The whole board is going to have an opportunity to vote on it. 3 people is not going to make the decision.
Correct.
Just want to let you know that 3 people won't make the decision.
Okay. Mr. Legord.
Okay, one other thing I have to say with this, some of the most important people not here. Oaklawn wasn't aware of this, you know, and why the principal not here, he probably over there fighting water out of the school today with the parents, because it rained all in the school today. So some of the most important people are not here. The Oaklawn community are not here, and we doing this. So I feel like this was just pushed up on us, backroom politics. You know, where the principal had to say he was coming, but serious. He honestly fighting water in his building. It rained in that building on those kids today. The parents are probably over there. They are here. They should be a part of this discussion. You know, it's not what.
Okay, excuse me.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
They don't know.
Point of order. Okay, so what we're going to do now, thank you. Thank you very much. We're trying to be fair, but y'all keep outbursts, and it's just going to make it more difficult. Sorry, Mr. Legord.
No problem. I understand his frustration, but, you know, I'm for option 3A for Grand Collier, but Oaklawn should be at this table. And I think they want a new school as well, but they should be at this meeting, but they wasn't given the opportunity. And that's not fair. They was not given the opportunity to be here. But serious, literally, they are fighting water in that school as we speak.
Thank you, Mr. Legard. All right. Mr. DeHart, did you have something else? No.
This is the public agenda that everybody can get a copy of. It says consider 3 options. I have no support.
Thank you. That's why Oaklawn's not here.
And all I'm trying to say, sir, is that I hope we can go on with this. I never intended it to be only just these 3 options. I've stated there was another option before. Any board member can bring up any time. This is not our first board meeting that all of us had. You always have an opportunity to make a substitute motion if you don't like it on the floor, no matter what the topic is, how many choices you have.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Ford.
I can solve this problem in a sentence. This motion fails. At the board, we have an agenda item to discuss this as a board examining these options. At the board, someone makes a recommendation, we vote on it, boom. We've had discussion, we've had very robust discussion. Robert's rules, that's the best case scenario for us. This gets voted down, not trying to tell the committee what to do, but if it gets voted down, then December 6th board meeting, we have an agenda item to discuss these options, and we make a decision that night, and we move forward. Thank you.
So as of right now, on the floor, just making sure.
On the floor is to take the current options presented tonight and have the full board vote on them under December 6th.
Okay, so just those 3 options, but again, somebody could, okay, we're gonna move with that, but any board member can come forward with a new option, with a substitute motion to that.
Yes.
Any, where am I? I went to the public already, I gotta make sure I went there. So, it was
I made
moved
the
by
motion,
Mr. DeHart,
you
I
seconded.
seconded it.
Yes, sir.
Any
Call for
other-
the question.
Any other board members? Any objections to that?
No.
Motion passes. So to clarify, on December 6th, this will be brought up again for the full board to make a decision on. Okay? All right? Number 8 is Mr. Harding. You done? You got all that? Woo, try to make us look good now. Okay, number 8, matter bearing upon potential plan for Oaklawn Middle School, Mr. Harding.
Skip it.
I'm sorry.
Skip it.
Okay, so we're going to pull that. Okay, informational being pulled. Okay, now we're going to move into update of hurricanes. Number 9, matter bearing upon update of Hurricane Ida response. Is that going to be Mr. Ryan, Mr. Marco? Notice I said Mr. Marco.
And I brought my nameplate. Right there.
Oh, the other guy. I thought about saying that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming, parents, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. We're going to do this quick. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to make this quick.
Thank you, thank you. You're my favorite.
So,
Don't cut me short. I want to know every bit of it.
and you and I can have a conversation, I'm sure, later, Mr. Hamner. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody who got, who went through their elections, got reelected. For Mr. Lagarde, best of luck for you. I know you got a runoff. For the two that didn't have opposition, congratulations. And Ms. Soleil, stop smiling so much. So, what I've given you here is kind of a synopsis of all of our schools that we're managing, and just to go through the columns, what they mean to you is the school, which architect has that school. Then it's got a milestone date, and these are kind of what's going on. I'm going to go through some specific ones here in a minute. The damage assessment, where they lay. So in the last couple of weeks, we've been really kind of putting a little more pressure, a lot more emphasis. Not that we haven't been emphasizing this, but really to get these estimates and damage assessments completed. Part of that, there's been a lot of back and forth between the architects and All South. Many of them, very understandably so. You know, we discussed some things this afternoon and may actually change a few things as a result, as it goes with your ESSER funded projects and stuff like that. We want to make sure that the school systems are getting exactly what they're supposed to do with best thing with FEMA. But as you can see, we have a few more. We have 8 of them now under FEMA. I believe last month we were about 3. So we've got a few more in the FEMA portal, which is good. There are a few there you see Volkert, and that basically means that we just recently, in the last couple of days, received it, and our guys, Paul and Ryan, are reviewing those. And there's one with All South right now, which is Mulberry Elementary, and the others are with the architects. The 11/18 date on those is the date that we're pushing them to get us those responses. The other thing we're trying to do to speed some of those processes up too is to have meetings with the architect, our guys, and All South as well, to try to speed up any question and answer sessions they may have on that, to try to get some of these resolved. So the last column is a budgetary estimate, so you get an idea of kind of where we are with the budget. You know, we haven't necessarily had this column on here, but I think it's important for everybody to start seeing the money is involved in each one of these schools, because some of the numbers, you know, are fairly high. Some of them are a little lower because of less damage, what have you. So trying to give you as much information as possible. I know we've been talking a lot about schedules. We haven't been talking as much about budgets. So, you know, that's an important part that we need to be including into these conversations. So, as I said, I'm going to be quick. So I'm going to run down schools and what we have kind of going on right now with them, mostly having to do with bids and construction. So the Berg and Broadmoor modulars, they're in final punch list and approval. I believe that that process is within the next several days. We're going to be going through that. So South End Elementary repairs and Homa Junior High roof repairs, both are starting into the construction. I think we're hammering out the contracts and stuff with the contractors, getting pre-construction meetings set up and stuff so we can get those. Those are the ones that at your last board meeting you approved to move forward with. Evergreen. I know we've had a lot of discussions about that, particularly with the superintendent. The 300 building, the estimate review is with All South. I know Adam told us today he's reviewing and should have that back to us shortly. We have the drawings for that. And what I mean by the 300 building is the front building. It's just the portion that is not totally damaged, that we're going to try to do some work in there to try to get some faculty and some students into those areas to help alleviate some of the congestion they're having in the school. Obviously, if you look at the other half of the building, that's a totally different situation. So we do have the drawings for 300 building already, and ready to go for bid as soon as we go through the estimate and get any comments that All South may have. The roofing package on Evergreen, there's going to be a bid opening. It's out for bid. The bid opening's on December 13th. The interior portion of it, which would include the other half of the 300 building, which is the part that really got damaged, and other parts of the building, we're looking at a bid advertisement in February of 2023. The Gibson interior project, and interior is basically doing the repairs and stuff. It's not a roofing project. The Gibson interior project should be bidding in February of 22, as well as Caldwell interior. So a couple bids, and I know we have kind of scheduling out there right now. I believe those are both with DDG. Ellender baseball. So Ellender, as we've been discussing, is we're kind of breaking it up into a lot of different little components so we can get some parts of the work going on. The baseball fields, we're trying to get those in so we can get, you know, the students can have some fields to play on. It should be advertising within the next week. I should be advertising next week. I believe Ryan is getting the drawings from Craig Hebert. If not, I think it's tomorrow, so we can go ahead and get that thing advertised. Stabilization projects, which we've also been discussing, to put the kind of temporary roof, kind of shore in the building, do some other remediation we have to do inside. That should be advertising at the end of this month. And then Acadian and Legion Park, the roof packages have been awarded. So I know I went through a lot of information. I wanted to kind of be, sorry, you know, I know I'm not known for my brevity, but those are the big, as you can see, that we got projects now either coming up for bid or already into construction and stuff. So we have some progress on many of those. We will continue pushing with the damage assessments, get those things done. Many of the schools that have damage assessments that aren't finalized are already under some form of design. So I don't want everybody to think, oh, well, no design's been happening. Quite a few of the conversations we're having in the room with the architect meeting today was actually discussing that. There are designs already ongoing, so we're not holding off on that. So happy to entertain any questions.
Any committee members?
I have just one question for the superintendent, if you don't mind, sir. I appreciate your presentation.
Thank you, Mr.
But
DeHart.
whenever we're going to start advertising for bid on any of these projects, I would like, as one board member, and I don't know about the rest of them, I'd like to know when those bids are done, so we can be notified. Like whenever they open, whenever they open to see the outcome, and that'll give us a timetable of how we're making progress with the, you know, all the project managers and the architects. Because I did appreciate receiving information in our packet showing the roofs that were being fixed and the bids that came out. And regardless, I'm just saying the budget was set and everything was finalized properly. I'd just like to be informed where we can keep up with more updated progress, because our meetings are really far apart.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. DeHart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Trahan?
I was just seeing the number for budgetary timeline for Ellender, 34 million. That is huge. Is that a usual cost for the repair of a high school?
What it has in there, so FEMA has a couple of things. It requires you to use means to use for estimating, and means is a big thick book or online that basically tells you for just about any kind of building condition what's there, what the estimated cost should be. Usually per square foot, per lineal foot, or per whatever unit it is. It also includes labor and what have you. That is what the architects are tasked with putting together when they break it down. Some of these numbers include a percentage factor included in it as to what, you know, you go through what means tells you, but historical experience will sit there. I guess that's kind of an oxymoron, but will sit there and tell you. Appreciate the educators not correcting me. History will tell you that the cost comes in higher than that at a certain percent. Sometimes it's up to about 35%. So that factor is put in here because we need to start looking at the numbers that we are expecting to be expending at these schools, not just, you know, the FEMA part, you know, what we're turning into FEMA now. So yes, ma'am, 34 million is quite a bit because it is quite a bit of work inside of there. Sometimes, you know, this school did not fall under the 50% threshold. And I know that sounds kind of odd when you look at it, but when you're looking at today's building environment, which is a brand new high school, can be easily at the low end, probably $250 a foot, at the high end, well upwards of $300. You know, just a few years ago, we were budgeting about 200 to 220 a foot. Right now, we are almost $75 higher, if not almost to 100, depending on, you know, what's going on. And so when you look at that with the size of the school being a high school, this is not a weird number.
So between the two high schools, it could be looking close to 100 mil? Gee whiz.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start having these numbers on here, because I want y'all to have a good grasp. You know, I know we talk a lot of schedules, and it sounds like, oh, okay, we're going to go out there, you know, $20 million later. There's a lot of monies involved, and that's why a lot of this stuff is taking time. There's a lot. You take an Ellender, there's so many parts and pieces of that estimate to review. You know, it takes Adam and his crew a while to go through that, then to come back with comments, you know, that the architect, in that case, Mr. Craig Hebert, having to go through and respond and put all the information. It is multiple line items to do that, but it's the part that everybody as a team, between our guys and All South and HGI, is trying to get it such that when it goes to FEMA, it has the highest chance for approval, you know, without comments coming back.
Good chance you're doing that.
Any other board members? Any other questions for Mr. Marco? All right,
Thank you very much. I hope everybody has a very wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, you too. Number 10, matter bearing upon update of Hurricane Ida response. Mr. Lee, Curtis Lee.
Good evening to the board members. And for the second time, I'm going to try to cover some information, but be very mindful of how long we've been here tonight. I do also want to say to you guys, congratulations to those of you all who were able to keep your seat in your respective districts. A lot of the information that was discussed, oftentimes Volcker and HGI, we are obviously working on this as a collaborative effort. So that information that he was passing on about the processes of where we are in our reviews, we are in that same process as well. And so with the extent of our assessments, we are in the process of reevaluating what schools each of us were individually assigned for the ESSER funds, so that we can go back and make sure that we are removing that scope from our design plans before they go out to bid. With that being said, we have had a lot of bids to go out already, and we do have more coming in the months of December and January. There'll be quite a bit of movement taking place. So I'll touch on a few that we've already awarded and are opened, and some of that was already discussed this evening. Black Bayou and H.L. Bourgeois, those schools have
You said it backwards. You said Bayou Black.
Bayou Black. Okay, thank you. I heard the talking, and I was sure that I stated something incorrect.
That's all right.
Bayou Black and HL. We have our first bid openings, and we have our notice to proceed for those between the end of this month and before Christmas, coming up to 12/22 of this year. So we'll have work going on there. At Grand Caillou Middle, because I know we talked a lot about Grand Caillou tonight, we've awarded that work already. I think you guys covered that in one of the earlier committee meetings to Tosh, and that's going to be work starting on the roof, the exterior, the bus canopy, and that notice to proceed should go out in November 30th is our anticipation of this month. And then we have South Terrebonne High School baseball, where we expect to start doing the bidding on that one as well as November 30th of this month, understanding that we have a very confined window to execute that, to be ready for baseball by February the 18th. So we're pushing the contractor to keep that within a 60-day window if possible. So again, you know, there's more to come. Those are the things that we have short range right now between where we currently are and the end of this month and what we anticipate to present to you guys for our December BFT committee meeting, with a lot of that to go into construction for January of 2023 when we return in the new year.
Good. Any committee members, questions for Mr. Lee? Any other board members? Dr. Trahan.
Just one statement with the Black Bayou and Bayou Black.
Bayou Black.
Anybody from not around here would not really know why we say Bayou Black instead of Black Bayou.
Please.
But it's because of our French heritage. It's our culture. In French, the adjective comes behind the noun. Okay. If I said a red car in French, I would say car red, un chat rouge. And it would be a car red, because it's flipped. The adjective and the nouns are flipped in French. And our areas and our bayous and lakes were named in the beginning by French people. That's been translated into English. So we ended up with a Bayou Black and a Bayou Blue and a Lake Boudreaux instead of Boudreaux Lake and stuff like that. It's all backwards.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan, for the French lesson. Appreciate it. It's awesome. Anybody, any other members? Thank you, Mr. Lee. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Appreciate both of you guys, all y'all hard work. Mr. Sammy, matter bearing upon maintenance updates. Come on, man, don't make us wait.
Mr. Voisin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Lee. Somebody wasn't paying attention. Mr. LaGarde.
Not to compare y'all, Mr. Lee, but do you have an estimated cost, budgetary cost for breakdowns of the projects? I do, and I'd like to present that next month, because we do have, right now, in our reevaluation, we would be giving you some inaccurate dollars because a lot of our schools have the ESSER funds, and there's a lot of money tied to the MEP mechanical work. So if you guys would give us to next month's meeting, we'll be ready to present more on those. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. LaGarde. Now, Mr. Sammy? Anybody else? Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. Mr. Sammy.
Good evening. Congratulations to y'all. We have little projects that are in progress. We always have weekly meetings with the project managers on the hurricane repairs. We completed repairs at Bayou Cane Adult Ed. We got the windows changed, the gutters fixed, flashings and awning. That's all done over there. We're looking into getting the security lighting at Lewis Miller done. That was all taken out from the storm. I've been in contact with Entergy, and they're supposed to be in there to get that all lit back up. That's all their lines. We added security lights to the front of Homer Junior High. We attend pre-bid meetings for several construction projects. We have a district-wide custodial training on the chemicals and how to use the supplies and everything, since we have a new vendor. And we installed lighting at the Southdown practice field. And this month we had a total of 302 work orders come in.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Poisson? Yes, Mr. Ford?
Mr. Poisson, there's a few things that I'm planning on bringing up soon with regards to some facilities that we have around the district that we just want to do some paint and some basic woodwork, a few little things to spruce them up a little bit. Do you guys have access to our surplus of paint and supplies that we can acquire without having to come to the board? Because we talked about this at the beginning of the year last year, or this year rather, having spruce it up opportunities, you know, around schools, in the halls, on the floors, or whatever the case may be. And what I'm wondering is, can we just go to you about getting some of these supplies, and then you say, you're going to need to go to the board for this, and I can give you, you know, if I come to you with a list, can you say, yeah, we'll provide these things, and then itemize and then tell us what we need to go to the board for?
Yeah, I mean, if we're sprucing up a school. If the school needs paint, they call our office. Sandy will get with them and tell them where they can get the supplies. I mean, it's, I don't know who you're talking about going to be painting, if it's volunteers, parents.
That's the thing, we have administrators that have secured volunteers, and they don't mind doing the work. We just need to get them the supply, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and we'll have to get with the principals too. I know we deal also with getting it cleared through insurance. Just, you know, you're having other people coming onto the property like that doing work. That has to be brought through them also.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Anyone else with Mr. Poisson? Question? Oh, Dr. Tron, sorry, ma'am.
I just have a security, it might be Mr. Orgeron can answer this as well as Mr. Sammy. Since the storm, we've had a lot of fences down, we've had a lot of issues with security and perimeters of our schools. And I know in my district, I still have Oaklawn that's down, and I have Acadian. I attended Acadian's PTC meeting a few weeks ago, and those parents have a serious problem, and I know a deep worry about people coming in that campus because there's so many buildings there, and it's so far out. It's in town, but it's still isolated, where there's not a lot of people that's seeing what's happening at that school. So I was just wondering how we're doing with the security issues to get that put back together since the storm and with the fencing in the schools. And okay, they're on the list to get done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we are with the Oakland. I know Acadians in the works.
Okay.
What we've done since our conversation about Acadian, we're just doing a better job of locking the exterior buildings. It's inconvenient, but that's what they're doing at Schriever and other schools. They have to walk kids to and from buildings at times. It's not convenient at all, but that's what
Necessary
we're doing
until we get the perimeter fencing up.
We've got to keep all the outside buildings locked.
Right.
So that's happening right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tron. Anyone else?
And then just to let y'all know too, the weather we had last night blew that roof off of the 200 wing at Oaklawn.
Wow.
That's where the water came from in there. Somebody's going to be on the job tomorrow morning repairing that.
What's the 200 building?
That's the,
I know
that's
what's
that
the
front.
200 building. Is that
I taught in that hall, in that wing, one year.
What is exactly the 200 building? What grade level?
Oh.
Sixth grade, I think. Fifth or sixth grade.
Fifth or sixth? Is that brick building? Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Because I took a tour of the building not long ago with Mr. Carter. That's the same building I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I
I
just wanted
talked to
make sure
Mr.
it wasn't
Carter.
another building.
I talked to Mr. Carter today, and we got that. The people's going to be there in the morning repairing that. But these temporary roofs have just about reached their limit. So any little wind is tearing them off.
You have to do it. Thank you, Mr. Poisson.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. DeHart, second by Mr. Harding. Any public comments? Mr. DeHart, Mr. Harding, any objections? Done.
I'll put them right here so I have them to use when we, they got a bunch of them right there. Pencils and pens. I keep shoving them into my binder right here.